Imagine stealing $230 million at just 20 years old. No guns, no high-speed car chases, just phones, apps, and clever social engineering. Meet Malone Lam, a young mastermind whose crimes shocked the crypto world. But his downfall was written in his
I wake up, flex songs down that check, no drip, just tell me money,
Malone thought he had it all: cars, mansions, and bar tabs worth more than most people's houses, until it all came crashing down. How did he do it? Where did all that money go? And what happened to the kid who dared to steal from the future? This is the story of Malone Lam, his audacious heist, and the life that unraveled after his moment in the spotlight. On August 19th, 2024, Malone Lam, a 20-year-old from Los Angeles, teamed up with Veer Chital, 18, Jean-Diel Serrano, 21, Danish Khan, and Chen. Together, this unlikely crew orchestrated a crime that would shake the crypto world, stealing $230 million in Bitcoin from a single Genesis creditor. But they didn't use high-tech hacking tools or underground black market tricks. Nope. They relied on social engineering, a fancy term for manipulating people into giving up their secrets. It all started with a simple phone call. Veer, nicknamed Wiz, had a talent for impersonation. Armed with a spoofed phone number, he pretended to be from Google support, spinning a believable tale of urgency. Your accounts are at risk, he told the victim, creating just enough panic to gain access to their Gmail and iCloud accounts. Once inside, the crew moved fast. They needed to disable the victim's two-factor authentication, 2FA, a critical security measure for crypto accounts. That's where Jean-Diel, known as Box, came in. Posing as a representative from Gemini, the victim's crypto exchange, Box convinced them to reset their two-factor authentication. The trick worked perfectly, and the door to the victim's Bitcoin wallet swung wide open. But the final step was where things got truly diabolical. Using AnyDesk, a remote access tool, the team convinced the victim to unknowingly share their screen. In doing so, they revealed the private keys to their Bitcoin wallet. In a matter of minutes, 4,064 Bitcoins, worth a staggering $230 million, were transferred out. And here's the part that will blow your mind. This wasn't just about the heist. What these young thieves did with their newfound fortune is the stuff of legend. From multi-million-dollar mansions to private jets and luxury cars, their spending spree was as reckless as it was jaw-dropping, but their boldness would eventually become their downfall. How did they pull it off, and what went wrong? Stay tuned, because this story only gets crazier. The crew knew their victory was only the beginning of a long and risky journey. Crypto may be decentralized, but every transaction leaves a trail on the blockchain. If they wanted to enjoy their newfound wealth, they needed to launder it, and fast. The process began almost immediately. The group used a sophisticated laundering technique called peel chains. This involves breaking down the massive Bitcoin haul into much smaller, more manageable amounts. Think of it as slicing a giant cake into crumbs and scattering them everywhere. First, they moved the stolen Bitcoins across 15 different cryptocurrency exchanges. Each exchange acted like a pit stop where the funds were shuffled, making it harder to track their origin. At these exchanges, the Bitcoins were converted into other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin and Ethereum, coins with faster transaction times and lower fees, making them ideal for quick laundering. But the crew didn't stop there. To truly erase the digital fingerprints, they turned to Monero, a privacy-focused cryptocurrency designed to obscure transaction details. Unlike Bitcoin, which has a public ledger anyone can view, Monero hides information about the sender, recipient, and amount of every transaction. This made it nearly impossible for investigators to trace the money once it landed in Monero wallets. The entire laundering process took days of planning, execution, and careful monitoring. It wasn't just about splitting up the money, but also strategically timing the transfers to avoid raising red flags with exchanges or blockchain analysts. They sent funds at odd hours and used automated bots to handle the transfers, minimizing human error. While most of the crew kept a low profile during this time, Malone couldn't resist basking in his newfound wealth. Even as the laundering continued, he began sharing extravagant plans with his team. They swapped links to luxury items in their Telegram group, designer bags, high-end watches, and flashy cars. Malone's dream of living the the high life was about to become a reality. By the end of the laundering process, the stolen money had been transformed. What started as 4,064 easily traceable bitcoins now exist as countless transactions spread across multiple cryptocurrencies, with a significant portion hidden in Monero. On paper, the money looked clean, ready to be spent without raising suspicion, but no laundering method is foolproof. While they had obscured much of the trail, small mistakes in their process would later come back to haunt them. For now, though, the crew believed they were untouchable. With their money clean, they felt unstoppable, and Malone in particular was ready to unleash his inner billionaire. What came next was a spending spree so wild it made headlines around the world. From luxury cars to private jets, Malone's flamboyant lifestyle would ultimately become his undoing. But for a brief moment, he and his crew lived like kings. Malone Lam's story isn't one of a stereotypical criminal mastermind born into a world of crime. Instead, his journey began in a modest neighborhood in Los Angeles, where he grew up as the son of hardworking immigrants. His father ran a small business, barely keeping the family afloat, while his mother worked long hours as a nurse. Money was tight, and Malone saw firsthand the challenges of making ends meet. Despite the financial struggles, his parents instilled the value of hard work and education in their children, hoping it would pave the way to a brighter future. Malone showed early promise, particularly in academics. At his local high school, he stood out as a math whiz and had a knack for computer science. He began exploring the darker corners of the internet. His skills quickly evolved beyond coding and programming, delving into hacking techniques and cyber loopholes. Once the stolen money was laundered, Malone Lam wasted no time in living out his wildest dreams. Malone quickly became a fixture in Los Angeles' most exclusive nightclubs. VIP sections were his playground, where he splurged on bottle service and lavish tips on DJs. His presence was impossible to miss. He made sure of
He
that.
even tipped me $2,000. When I tell you the amount of bottles he sent me that I took home brand new, everything sealed.
At one club, Malone racked up a tab of over $300,000 in a single night. On another occasion, he reportedly spent more than $500,000. DJs would shout his name over the music, hyping him up as if he were a celebrity. Malone tipped in thousands, ensuring his reputation as a nightlife legend grew. But this wasn't just about partying. It was about making a statement. He wanted the world to see that he had made it, even if his success was built on stolen Bitcoin. Malone didn't limit himself to LA. He chartered private jets to jet set around the country, landing in cities where the party scene matched his appetite for extravagance. Miami became his second home. In Miami, he rented a jaw-dropping $10.5 million waterfront mansion for $62,000 a month. This 8,500 square foot estate wasn't just a house. It was a statement piece, with 10 bedrooms, a jacuzzi, and a massive driveway for his growing fleet of luxury cars. The mansion reflected Malone's belief that the world was his playground. Cars were one of Malone's biggest indulgences. His collection was the stuff of dreams. Mansory Lamborghini Urus's in black and white, multiple Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Mercedes-Benz G-Class vehicles, a McLaren 765 LT, and even the ultra-rare Pagani Huayra, all lined up in his driveway. Each car wasn't just a mode of transport, it was a trophy of his newfound status. But Malone didn't stop there. In a dramatic attempt to win back his ex-girlfriend, he bought her a pink Lamborghini Urus. Unfortunately for him, the grand gesture fell flat. She rejected both the car and him. Meanwhile, Malone's friends weren't exactly living modestly either. One member of the group used his share to buy a diamond-encrusted watch collection that would make even the wealthiest envious. Another funneled their money into gambling, often staking tens of thousands of dollars at high-roller tables in Las Vegas casinos. Some splurged on luxury vacations, booking private islands and five-star resorts where they could bask in their newfound wealth. One even paid for an entire entourage of friends and influencers to join him for a week-long yacht party in the Mediterranean, complete with Michelin-starred chefs and imported champagne. And then there were the investments, though not the smart kind. Malone and his crew poured money into flashy startups and high-risk ventures, often more for the bragging rights than any real financial returns. The spending was reckless, extravagant, and completely unsustainable. Malone's mansion, his fleet of cars, and his nights in the VIP section all became symbols of excess. But behind the glamour, the cracks in their empire were beginning to show, a stark reminder that stolen money never lasts. Malone's spending wasn't limited to himself. He had a knack for turning heads and handing out extravagant gifts to strangers, which blurred the line between generosity and sheer showboating. At one of LA's most exclusive clubs, clubs, he made headlines for gifting 5 Birkin bags, each worth tens of thousands of dollars, to random women. Among the recipients was TikTok star Sky Bree, who famously rejected his attempt to impress her. In a viral post, Sky explained why she turned down the $20,000 bag.
Me and my 2 girlfriends walk over to the section, and this kid, I'm gonna refer to him as like a kid. I mean, he was definitely over the age of 18. He looked pretty young. He comes towards me and he's like, I got this for you.
Calling it a shallow display of wealth.
It's beautiful, but to be honest, it's not really my style.
Malone brushed it off, but the moment painted a picture of his over-the-top lifestyle. Malone's flashy antics naturally caught the attention of celebrities. He partied with several high-profile names, including top DJs, influencers, and athletes. Though his interactions with these stars were fleeting, Malone made it clear he wanted to be part of their world. At a luxury car event, he even exchanged numbers with a well-known NBA player, hinting at possible business ventures. While these moments gave Malone the illusion of being a celebrity himself, they also painted a target on his back for authorities who were quietly monitoring his every move. Despite living like a celebrity, Malone failed to recognize the danger of the spotlight. His relentless desire to flaunt his wealth and rub shoulders with A-listers drew more scrutiny than admiration. Partygoers weren't the only ones keeping tabs on him. Federal investigators were also piecing together his every move. As Malone's fame grew, so did the trail of evidence linking him to the $230 million Bitcoin heist. His obsession with being seen and recognized ultimately became his downfall, showing that even in the high life, there's a price to pay for reckless ambition. Malone Lam's rise to infamy came crashing down faster than he could spend his stolen fortune. Investigators, led by the renowned blockchain sleuth Zach XBT, meticulously followed the flow of stolen funds. Cryptocurrency, despite its decentralized nature, still leaves a trail, and Malone's team had underestimated how relentless investigators could be. What sealed their fate wasn't just the money trail, but a series of rookie errors. Veer Wiz Chatal, known for his confidence during the heist, made a fatal mistake. He revealed his full name during a screen recording shared with an accomplice. This slip provided investigators with a critical lead. Meanwhile, John D.L. Box Serrano, another key player, reused crypto wallet addresses, a basic misstep in laundering. These repeated addresses gave authorities a roadmap connecting transactions and linking them back to the stolen funds. Malone's insatiable thirst for the high life became his biggest liability. His extravagant spending on luxury cars, lavish homes, and 6-figure nightclub tabs didn't just scream wealth, it screamed suspicion. Federal agents began watching his every move, connecting the dots between the crypto trail and his sudden opulence. On September 19th, 2024, the charade ended. Federal agents stormed Malone's $10.5 million Miami waterfront mansion. Inside, they found a treasure trove of evidence: high-end watches, receipts for outrageous purchases, and digital devices still logged into cryptocurrency exchanges. Malone was arrested on the spot. Authorities froze $9 million of the stolen funds and managed to recover $500,000, which was returned to the victim. However, millions remain inaccessible, locked in wallets, protected by untraceable private keys. Malone's downfall wasn't just about technology or law enforcement. It was about arrogance. His desire to flaunt his wealth blinded him to the fact that, in today's world, the digital and physical always leave behind a trail. For someone who pulled off one of the boldest heists in history, his ultimate undoing was surprisingly simple. He wanted everyone to know just how rich he was. Investigators are now probing whether this heist was Malone's first. Unverified reports suggest he may have been involved in smaller scams during his teenage years, including phishing schemes and identity theft. If true, it paints a picture of someone who started small but always aimed for the big leagues. His lawyers argue that he was manipulated by older, more experienced criminals, but prosecutors are unlikely to show leniency given the scale of his crime. The story of Malone Lam isn't just about a heist, it's a cautionary tale about greed, hubris, and the dangers of flaunting ill-gotten wealth. While his crime was bold and ingenious, his desire for fame and validation sealed his fate. Malone Lam's rise and fall is a story that will be told for years to come. A 20-year-old who dared to outsmart the system but fell victim to his own recklessness. Was it worth it? For him, probably not. But for the rest of us, it's a reminder. No matter how clever you think you are, every move leaves a trail. And in the digital age, someone's always watching. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. And make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we will see see you in the next one.